Let's look at 6 more to make sure you really understand what's going on here. And if I'm doing something that doesn't make sense, don't just write it down and say, oh, well, I hope I get it later. Pause it, rewind it, watch it again, or jot down, as you're doing it, jot down questions that you have. Make sure that you're using these videos to really help you understand. That's the only thing they're designed for, is to help you. And if it's not helping you, then do some more to get more out of it. Anyway, looking right here, we got an angle, 35. Put our finger on that one. What is it that we have? We have the opposite side, and we have adjacent. We have opposite and we have adjacent. And I like to always, on the top of my papers when I'm doing trig, is just write so, ka, to. And I put a little space in between just so I know the 3 separate equations. So right now we have O and A. We have OA, which lets us know we need to use tan. So the tan of 35, and it's always the tan of the angle. It's not going to be like tan of 3 is x over 35. No, it's always start with the angle. Always put your finger here first. Whether it's here or up at the top, it doesn't matter. One of those we're starting with. Tan of 35 is opposite over adjacent. Okay? That's the first part. Make sure you can set those equations up right. Once you do that, it's really only algebra. So we're timesing by 3. And we get x is equal to tan of 35 times 3. So the tan of 35 times 3. We get 2.1. Okay, coming down here to the second one. Put our finger on the angle. Opposite adjacent. Opposite adjacent is OA. So tan of 80 is opposite over adjacent. Here the x is on bottom. So we times both sides by x. And then we divide by tan of 80. Because it's x times tan 80. I'll go slow so you can see this. Once I times both sides by x, this is what I end up with. And I need to get rid of this, so I just divide it all by tan of 80. But you don't have to go through that every time. You know this is going to end up happening anytime x is on the bottom. You know that these are just going to switch places. X comes here, tan of 80 goes down there. And so we'll just say, okay, tan of 80 is that, and we want 20 divided by that. And you get 3.5. Put our finger on the angle. We have adjacent. Okay, maybe you're having trouble. I can't tell when it's opposite or when it's adjacent. Write that down, and that way I can help you with that tomorrow. But if you're putting your finger, that should help. Opposite is across. Right now, the opposite is the only one not touching my finger. Right here, this x is touching my finger. So is the hypotenuse, but we know that's the hypotenuse. So right now we're looking at adjacent and hypotenuse. We're looking at So it's cosine of 52 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Times both sides by 30. And we get that cosine of 52 is that times 30, 18.5. Three more. Put the finger. By now, hopefully you're gaining confidence. And this is becoming easier and easier. We got adjacent. We have hypotenuse. Stop the video if you need to. Try it on your own and then turn it on and check and make sure you got the right answer. 12 over x. Here we have x on the bottom. I'm not going to go through the whole step. We're thinking ahead. We know, okay, I'm going to times this, I'm going to divide this. They're going to end up changing places. And so we got cosine of 41. You're probably going to type it in to your graphing calculator differently. It's going to be better than this thing. And so we got 12 divided by cosine of 41. 15.9. Next one. Finger here, we have opposite, we have hypotenuse, that's sine. Sine of 24 is opposite over hypotenuse. Times both sides by 24. We get x is equal to 24 times the sine of 24. By now you might be saying, Mr. I got it. Okay, stop the video. You're good. X is 9.8. And very last one, opposite hypotenuse, sine. Sine of 60 is opposite over hypotenuse. X is on the bottom. Sine of 60. We want 7 divided by sine of 60. 8.1. Notice that I'm rounding all of them to the nearest 10. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense to you. Here's something to think about. This is going to lead you into the next lesson. But notice that every time we did it, there was an angle. What happens if x is the angle? That's the mystery for tonight. Think about that. We'll explore it tomorrow.